Hello, welcome to the lesson 2, IP subnetting. Now in this tutorial I'm going to teach you how to subnet a class A, class B and class C network. Alright, before that we need to know three key terms: the subnet mask, the broadcast address and CIDR, which is classless inter-domain routing. Okay, now what is a subnet mask? It is a 32-bit value that allows the device that is receiving an IP address to distinguish the network portion of an IP address from the host. Now the subnet mask is going to tell us, I can even say is the key to subnetting a network. So if you cannot know a subnet map, we cannot subnet a network. Now from the subnet map we are going to know how to subnet a network of a class A or class B or class C. Now a broadcast address, which is an IP address that is used to target all systems on a specific subnet network. Now it is used by each host. Now each host have its own IP address, right? Now if they want to communicate with all other hosts in the network, that is they send a broadcast address. Maybe they are trying to find an IP address of a or they want to find the MAC address of a neighboring host. So they use a broadcast address to do that using app protocol, address resolution protocol. So now CIDR is what? Classless inter-domain routing, which is a method that the internet service provider use to allocate a number of addresses to company home and their customer. So now from here I can say 255.0.0 is the same as /8, 255.255.0 is the same as /16, because each and every octet here is 8 bytes, 8 bits, right? So this is 8. So if this one is 8, it's /8. This one is 8 plus 8 is 16, making /16. 8 plus 8 plus 8 making /24. Okay. Now this thing here representing this is called classless inter-domain routing. Now let's start with subnetting class C. But before we go there, we need to know rules of subnetting. Now if you want to subnet a network, we need to answer all these questions. How many subnets does the chosen subnet map produce? How many valid hosts can we find in the subnet? What are the valid subnets? What is the broadcast address? And what are valid hosts in each subnet? Okay. Alright, so from this we can see that from this question we can be able to subnet any class of network, either it's a class A, class B or class C. Now let's start with class C. Now looking here, I have a class C network because of what? It's starting in 192. Now I've already told you in the last tutorial that if you want to distinguish a class C network, it starts from 192 to 223. Now here as I'm seeing a network, I'm seeing the IP address is starting in 192. So it just shows that what is a class C network. Alright, since a class C network, my subnet mask is 255.255.12.128. Now here from this class C network we can identify the network portion. I told you that this one is the network, while this one is the node, right? So which makes this to be the network ID, while this also is called the network part of the subnet mask. Now the 128 is the one that is very, very unique. Now from this 128, representing 128 in decimal, gives us 1000000. So that means that what? And the number of host bits is only 1. So to find the number of subnets is just 2 raised power 1. That is the number of host bits that is on. Now to find the host bit per subnet, then we need to calculate. This is the number of subnets, that is 2 raised power 1. That is number of host bits that is on. But to find the number of hosts per one subnet, then that means that I need to count the number of host bits that is off. Now it is 7 here. So now I have 2 raised power 7 minus 2, making what? 126 hosts per one subnet. Now that is in these two subnets, each one is going to have 126 hosts. Now what are the value subnets you have? I'm going to subtract 128, which is the last from 256 rather. I'm going to have 128. So that means I'm having two subnets here. I'm having the 0 subnet and 128 subnets. So from these two, I can see that I have my subnet ID here. That is 192.168.10.0, 192.168.10.128. Right? Now the broadcast address is always the number right before the subnet address. Now from here, the broadcast address is 127, which is 128, right? So that means that what? They said the broadcast address is always the number right before the next subnet. So now the last value or the last octet of the value host string is the number before this broadcast address. Now if I'm having 128 here, I'm having 126 here. So that means my value old is starting from 1, not 0. 0 is a subnet ID. 128 is subnet ID. Now it's starting from, if you assign a host this, it's going to complain that it is not valid because it is a subnet ID. We can't assign a subnet ID. So now it's going to start from 1 to 126. Okay, now can you see that it is 126 hosts per subnet. Now it's going to start, and the next one, the subnet ID for 128 subnet ID, I will have the valid host is starting from 129 to 254, while the broadcast address is going to have 255. Now if you want to subnet a network of 192.168.10.0, the same network address but with a different mask, now in this case with 224. Now you all know that 23 is the network portion, while the 0 is the host ID, right? Host portion. Now that makes 255 the network portion, while I'm concerned with what? Only 224. So from here, this is 11111 representing 255. Now 224 rather to binary. Yeah. Now converting 224 to binary. Sorry, I want to change something. Okay. Now converting 224 to binary, I can have that. I can have 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. So now count this, I'm having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bits, right? So if I add 128 plus 64 plus 32, I'm having 224. So that means the numbers I'm having adding together, I'm representing them is 1 and 1 and 1, while the others is 0. Now 128 plus 64 plus 32 give me 224. That's why they're having 1 1 1, while the others are 0. So that means converting to 24 from decimal to binary is 1110000. So that means I'm having 3 bits that is on. So that's why I'm having 2 raised power 3 here. That is giving what? 8 subnets. So that means this ID, this network address with this subnet max has what? 8 subnets. So that means I can subnet this network into 8 parts. So now how about the host per subnet? Now here, since because I'm having 3 bits that are on, but look, I'm having 5 bits that are off. So the 5 bits that are off, I'm having 2 raised power 5 minus 2. It's going to give me what? 30 hosts per one subnet. That is, for each subnet in the 8 subnet, I'm having 13 hosts each, because where 5 is the number of host bits that are off. Now what are the value subnet? The value subnet just what? 256 minus what? 224. So I'm having 32. So starting from 0, I'm having 0. 0 plus 32, I'm having 32. 32 plus 32, I'm having 64. 64 plus 32, I'm having 96. Plus 32, 28. Plus 32, 160. Plus 32, 192. Plus 32, 224. Plus 32, I'm having 255. But I'm not going to use that. So that means my subnet, I'm having subnet 0, 32, 64, 96, 128, 160, 192, and 224. So which are the last update of the subnet ID, right? So now looking at this table, now I can have my subnet 0, subnet 32, 64, 96, 128, 160, 192, 224. Now for the broadcast ID, I told you is the number before the subnet ID. Now if this one is 32, my broadcast will be 31, right? Now if this one is starting from 0, the next one will be 1, while this one is 31, it will be 30. So if you can remember, that's what 1 to 30, I'm having what? 30 hosts per subnet. So I'm right, I'm having 30 hosts per subnet here. Per the 0 subnet, I'm having 30 hosts. So I'm having 1 from address 1 to address 30 for the subnet 0, address 33 to 62 for subnet 32. Now if this one is 64, I'm having 63. 96, I'm having 95. 128, I'm having 127. 160, I'm having 159. So but note all these numbers here, they are the broadcast ID. We don't assign them to host. This is what we assign to host, all the network all the IP address here. So I'm having 192.168.10.1, 33 to 62, 65 to 94, 97 to 126, 129 to 158, 161 to 190, 193 to 222, 225 to 254. Now we can note that each and every the difference is what is just 30 hosts per one subnet. So from here we have successfully subnetted this IP address with this subnet mask to this. So that I'm having what? How many subnets? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As it said here, I'm having 8 subnets, 30 hosts per subnet, 1 to 30, and I'm having this broadcast address. So that means for this subnet address, I have successfully achieved, as already subnet this network ID with this broadcast subnet mask to this. Now, let's see this question. What subnet did IP address 192.168.10.50 with subnet mask 255.255.240.244 falls into? Okay, now let's say I assign a host 192.168.10.50. So with this subnet mask. So which subnet ID did this host fall into? Now looking here, I'm going to start with what? 256 minus 224. I'm having 32, right? So that means for my value subnet, I'm having 0, 32, 64, 96. Okay, now if I'm having 50 here, the IP address fall between subnet 32 and subnet 64. So that means my 92.168.10.50 is going to fall in between this, but I'm very sure that it's going to be in the 32 subnet. So if it's going to be in 32 subnet, it's going to have a broadcast address of 63 because the next subnet ID is 64. So I'm going to have 63. So that means 50 is going to be in this subnet. So then it has a broadcast address of 63 while the next subnet is 64. So remember that the broadcast address of a subnet is always the number right before the next subnet. Alright, let's look at another question. IP address 192.168.10.170 with the subnet mask of 255.255.244.240. What is the valid host string? Now I want to know the valid host string here. Here they ask me which subnet is possible, but in this case I was told to find the valid host range. Now the first thing first, I'm going to find the valid subnet. So I'm going to subtract 240 from 50. I'm having 16. So what are the subnets? What are the subnets I have? I have subnet 0, 16, 16 plus 16 is 32, 32 plus 16 is 48, 48 plus 16 is 64, 64 plus 16 is 80, and so on to 176. And it still continues from here. It's not stopping in 176. It still continues. So alright, now what is the valid host string? Now the host address is 170. Can you see here? So and this 170 is definitely in this subnet, that is in the 160 subnet. So if it's falling here, that means it's having the what? It's a broadcast address of what? 175, right? So that means the valid host range is going to start from 161 to 174, while the broadcast address is going to be 175. So 174 minus 161 is going to give me the host, the number of hosts. But the valid host range, which I'm told to find, is from 161 to 174, because 170 fall in between this. That is 192.168.10.161 to 192.168.10.174. So that means 192.168.10 to 170 fall into this host valid host range and is in this 160 subnet. So let's stop here a little bit, then we continue in the next lesson.